to Banderi Pay. We are introducing more payment providers to it. We hope that we onboard 90% of the payment providers by mid-2026. Currently, we have only 3. Launch Banderi Pay mobile app by mid-2026. Establish a national statistical information system, 100% completed by end of 2026. And this slide actually shows us the phases, and I just skip them because we have covered it here. So it has the medium term, the medium term is here, and then long term is there. And finally, the summit asks that we are asking to be endorsed. Fast track the public accounting system upgrade activity, EGP Go Live launch and public awareness, invest in capacity building initiative to sustain IFMI solution, institutionalize financial system APIs and data standards, commit to interoperable sectoral systems for transparent and efficient public finance. Lastly, establish a fintech solution. And that ends my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Nais. And now for our panel discussion on sectoral digital transformation of the finance sector. Please welcome our moderator, Communication Specialist at the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Ms. Huda Fahim. Joining her on the panel are Mr. Mohammed Nais, Chief Information Officer at the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Mr. Hussein Imran Abdul Mohammed, State Minister at the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Mr. Yasin Hussain, Chief Public Accountant at the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Ms. Aishat Hassan, Chief Statistician at the Maldives Bureau of Statistics, and Mr. Mohammed Shafi, the Director General at the Ministry of Finance and Planning. If you have any questions, please do raise your hands. We will provide the microphones, and when you ask the questions, rise and introduce yourselves as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this important discussion. We've just heard a powerful and insightful presentation that sets the stage for understanding the financial transformation underpinning the Maldives 2.0 vision. We have with us a panel of experts from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, including Maldives Bureau of Statistics. And now, I would like to open the floor for the questions from the audience. If you have a question, please let us know. Kindly introduce yourself and share the question with us. We have one question from here.
Does it work? Does it work? Hello? Hello? You hear me? Yes. First of all, my name is Katie Välba. You all heard me earlier today. I hope everyone knows me already. Thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. Just question for a clarification. Where or is there the state treasury component somewhere, the budget management solution? Is it integrated into SAP? Or because you didn't really talk about that function?
It's part of.
I can, but the others can't. Yeah, now it works.
Yes, BPC is the module that we use currently. That's budget preparation and consolidation. It's an SAP module. We use that, and it is installed on as part of the business warehouse, and it's directly integrated with the core system. So BPC is utilized, and line ministries have access to BPC, and budget preparation is done through the system. Consolidation is done through the system, And we prepare the national budget through the system, present it to the parliament, and when the parliament approves the budget, that budget becomes the zeroth budget. We transfer it to the ECCC system for it to be utilized in transactions and budget changes, that is transfer from one budget code to the other budget code, or is done through the system.
Okay, thank you.
No other external system. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Nazir. I'm from the Ministry of Higher Education, Labor and Skills Development. We do process student payments on the regular basis. The current system that we have has a partial automation, and currently we are in the process of enhancing for a full automated system until the payment. But I was told that even though we have automated system, but we might not be able to integrate the system to SAP at the Finance Ministry. So can you tell us the possibility of integrating SAP to our system? Unless that we have this integration, we might not be able to automate the full entire payment system. Thank you.
Hi. Hello? Okay, yeah. The question is about integrating the student loan management system with SAP, right? So I think in a functional perspective that can be possible, and as Mr. Nice has cleared out in the presentation as well, the PS gateway is already there, so we can work on how we can integrate both the systems if the APIs are in place, right APIs, yeah.
Let me add to the...
Yeah.
If there is urgency at the moment, before we start the upgrade of S4HANA, we can have a look at that aspect of integrating through the public accounting system gateway, rather than waiting for that to happen after the S4HANA go live. So we can actually start this dialogue, and because there is possibility of us integrating any external system to the current public accounting system, we have endpoints already configured in the system as per the standard procedures of SAP. So it's doable, but we will have to have consultation one-to-one in order for us to see what possibilities are there and how best we can help Ministry of Higher Education.
It's very urgent for us because during the past so many years, the delay mostly lie in the student payment process. Right now, the current enhancement part will be handed over to us by the end of October this year. So I request the finance to see the possibility of integrating the process sooner than later. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to ask two questions. One, I have seen on your presentation that you are that you're planning to use or maybe using already DocuSign. Yes, you have mentioned that you are using a DocuSign program for contract management, I assume. So my question is, why DocuSign? Do you have a plan develop your national contract signing system? Because if digital identity and digital signature will be implemented, it would be much better to do this with your national identity. And the second question, you're also developing payment application for some state payment. Do you have some alternatives also in central bank? Because usually I know countries, the central bank also actively developing some kind of payment tool. If they're also doing that, so how you plan to cooperate, or just, I don't know, I just want to know more about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. Why we went with DocuSign. We initiated the e-procurement implementation last year, and back then we didn't have any clue of what's coming in terms of the signature, e-signature management, and we have been hearing about the digital signature, the legislation and all of those, and nothing materialized. So if we have a new framework, we definitely will be switching back to the government's new initiative. It's very much possible. The second part is about the central bank's utilization of the payment gateway, right? Back then, in COVID-19 case where we had to really quickly establish something, and we had consultation with the central bank, and their suggestion was that we start and complete the Bandari Pay, and that once central bank comes up with a proper gateway, we then can forward all of our traffic and even utilize their own rather than having multiple gateways. So because of the urgency with consultation with MMA, we established the Bandari Pay. Thank you.
Do we have any further questions? Yeah?
Hi, I think one of the questions that Jana also mentioned was about the e-procurement. Moving towards e-procurement, we've had for a very long time, paper-based tendering process where everyone's very used to put in their signatures, the necessary initials, and the stamp along with any documentation. While you're moving into the e-procurement phase, how have you been, educating the vendors on how they should be submitting the documentation? Because I still see that the basic instructions to tenders is remaining the same as it was for the paper-based tendering process. If so, are we going to be introducing new set of instructions to the vendors? And while you're currently utilizing the e-procurement platform, the issues around that tendering process are, how are you changing the policy and regulating that? There was one question. The second question is on the land management, which is part of the the government asset portfolio, I believe. Is that going to also be integrated into the national e-integration?
First question is about having
the documentation. Yeah, changing documentation and the set of principles around regulating the e-procurements.
So basically, we have initiated the project on moving to an e-procurement solution, and the thought process have been in place with regard to that as well. And we are currently finalizing the functional documentation, functional specification for these to move forward. So obviously, we need to think on a process re-engineering point of view for that, as in the current paper-based and more of control-based things will be addressed with a digital solution, I believe. Yeah.
So as for the land management, but I think the presentation now is also covered about asset management with geospatial information. So we have been developing a land information system. We have started on it. We have developed the softwares, and we were on the stage of testing it. So our idea is to, because when it comes to assets, the important component as far as geospatial is, which is the location component. So our idea is to incorporate this information in the land information system, which should enhance the assets managed by the finance ministry as well. Thank you.
How far along are we? The timeline.
So we had some things that happened to us. If you remember, we were in another ministry last year, and we are under finance ministry. Actually, there are two components: the planning side and the land side that came under finance ministry. So we had some issues when the fire incident happened. So we are evaluating it. At that time, the server was developed on site, and we are currently discussing with the consultant as well our software providers whether this was the best approach. And after these discussions, we would be taking our approach. So I can't currently give a timeline because we have to talk about the initial steps as well.
We have a question from the front here.
Assalamu alaikum. Fatma Sharif from Civil Service Commission. Why you have proposed to have a standalone mobile app for Banderi Pay while there are other like e-wallet services like M-FASA? Why not we integrate with the other e-wallet services? There are other e-wallet services other than M-FASA also. For example, I have some few hundred rupiah in my M-FASA account for the past, I think, 2 years, but I don't find any way I can use that. It's still there. So if there something like an integration came, then it would be convenient for citizens like us, I suppose.
All right. Banderi Pay is a tool for citizens, businesses to pay for the government services. Whatever collected through Banderi Pay goes and hits into our single treasury account. M-FASA is an e-wallet where you can spend your money on whatever you want to pay. But Banderi Pay is designed only to collect payments for the government services. That's the difference. However, within Banderi Pay, what we are trying to achieve here is incorporate M-FASA in Banderi Pay. So when the next time you need to pay for the government service, any government service, utilize M-FASA because it's part of the one of the options that you can choose when you start the paying. Instead of choosing other two options, choose M-FASA. Utilize that 100 rupiah fully. That's done. That can be done even now. Thank you.
Just to add to that, under Banderi Pay, we have currently included, we started with BML Gateway, and we also have MIB FISA Pay as well, and Uri do M-FASA. And we are currently working with FiPay and Dirago e-wallet to onboard into Banderi Pay. So those are the current initiatives that we are currently working on. Yeah.
I have one more question, actually, regarding the VIA module. which is the accounting system practiced by local councils. You have mentioned that you have a vision to integrate VA module also to Banderi system, Banderi portal. Actually, VA module VA modules is developed by LGA. I'm not sure if there is anyone from LGA here. It comes under actually the Decentralization Act, where local councils are given a certain amount of power to spend, given a grant by the Finance Ministry, and to spend that they use the VA module under Decentralization Act. I wonder if that integration can be done without any amendments in the legislation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very valid question. Why can't we integrate via, that is the LGA developed application suite to be used by local councils? Why can't we integrate via with the public accounting system? We have had this initiated long time back, but the way VIA module has been developed, the development framework is very old, and for us to integrate VIA module with the public accounting system, there is a lot more work to be done, which is in the development side. That's why we are unable to integrate VIA module with the public accounting system. However, one point to be added, local councils can spend, or they have full independence on financial management of their resource pool. And we have also provided Banderi Pay access to local councils so that all of the Banderi Pay collected cash goes and hits to their bank account rather than hitting in the central treasury single account. So we have introduced that functionality within the Banderi Pay so the councils can utilize Banderi Pay rather than hitting the collection at MMA central treasury account, it hits their bank account. I don't have a figure of how many councils are currently integrated with Banderi Pay. I think Yasin can provide some insight to that.
When it comes to the specific revenues collected by the councils, we have received few requests to integrate their specific systems with Banderi Pay for their collections. But with regard to Sawari Pay, what we have integrated with Banderi Pay, there are specific revenue types under the decentralized act that needs to be transferred to the specific council accounts. So that has been done, and it's currently in place where whatever the vehicles registered under the councils, whatever is being paid through Sawari Pay will be directed to their specific accounts only, yeah. Although it's paid via Banderi Pay, yeah.
We have a few questions from here.
My name is Monim from Ministry of Higher Education as well. My question is concerning some differences between Varu Pay that is provided by Mira and then Banderi Pay. More specifically, I'll ask the question specifically, what can you distinguish? Because I think some of the services, some of the payments that are collected by Banderi Pay can also be collected by Varu Pay. It could be at the moment a choice for the agency that we can request to enable the payment be paid through Banderi Pay. So is there any specific guideline or any governing legislation where the this is regulated within the government?
When Banderi Pay came into place, Mira was collecting specific revenue, non-tax revenue types from the agencies, right? So it's like, except for Mira, all the government agencies' collections would be now via Banderi Pay. But with regard to your question about some fees collected via Banderi Pay and Mira, we are working on those areas and we are trying to switch it to Banderi Pay or Mira, so that will be decided. Yeah. If anybody from Mira, if you can add to that. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I think there is a clear distinction between what is collected in Banderi Pay and what is collected to Mira right now. But as Yasin said, there are some non-tax revenues which could be moved to Banderi Pay to make it more centralized and to make it easier for the citizens to get services. And I think there is a collaboration effort which we will decide whether we will move these non-tax revenues to Ministry of Finance and then collect them through Banderi Pay. So we will have that in future. Yeah.
So basically, Banderi Pay is a collection platform, right? Payment collection platform, but which is integrated with specific information systems like, let's say, Customs, Asikuda, or any specific systems. So these revenue types which we are talking about, currently, Mira is handling those payments within their systems with regard to what is being paid, what is being unpaid. But Banderi Pay doesn't have or build in a way that it would be included as an information system as such. So in order for those to be on board into Banderi Pay, these systems, specific information systems needs to be developed in a manner that can handle the dues and fees as well. Yeah.
Just moving on, so going forward, I think this question could be directed to the Maldives 2.0 team as well. I'm referring to TradeNet and NCIT. How do you see the future of collecting payments that are non-tax? Of course, Mira has, under legislation, some payments that they are liable to collect. And because there is room for non-tax payments that can be collected through integration from the services that are provided by OneGov as well. So what do you think will be the future of collecting payments, non-collecting payments? What would be the best way?
Just let me add to that as well. There are specific payments or non-tax revenue types which are being, the administrative part is being taken to OneGov, right? So we have an integration in place with OneGov and Banderi Pay as well with that regard. With regard to the full onboarding process, I think from OneGov can add to that. Tim.
Do you hear me? It's clear? In terms of making the payments process and the experience seamless for our clients and customers, we actually would like to approach this in two ways. One way is, for the OneGov, yes, definitely we want to bring all the agencies on board and have the payment seamlessly done. But there has been a separate discussion we've been having with Ministry of Finance to make the payment process more seamless than this for the average customer. Because there are ways of how we can collect the payments from the customers in one go and have it settled into multiple accounts as well. But for some of these seamless payment settlement solutions, we need to look into the technology side as well as there are legal sides we actually need to address. So to improve the overall payment process experience for the customers, I think we need to approach from a two-pronged approach. Firstly, to bring all the agencies on board to platforms whereby online real-time payments could be settled. And secondly, to improve and enhance the customer experience for seamless payments. And I think that requires looking at the technology side as well as the legal side of things.
Could we have a mic over here, please?
I actually had 3 questions. One question is already answered. It's regarding the DocuSign. You very well answered that question. My second question is regarding data sharing that you have mentioned in your platform. How flexible is your plan to adopt the data sharing, the national data sharing platform in regards of your data sharing with the interagency and with maybe public? And the third question is, do you have plans to actually develop Banderi Pay to a national payment system? I think this would be a very good idea because when we have a national payment system, for example, whatever we are using right now, all the transactions go to United States and then go to, that's what I believe. So if we have a national payment system, I think it will be a very good thing to have. So do you have plans to develop Banderi Pay into a national payment system?
I think starting from the last question about the national payment gateway, it's beyond the scope of Ministry of Finance, and the initiative has been taken care of by the central bank itself, and there may be legal implications on us saying that it's our role, so I'll not get into that aspect. We have close coordination with central bank whenever they are ready for this national payment gateway. We also would like to have a proper national gateway where we can direct all of our government payments towards that national payment gateway, and the national payment gateway then will sort it out for us rather than us integrating with all the banks and all the e-wallets and so on. Your idea is really good, and it involves other stakeholders other than Finance Ministry. The next question is, how open are we for data sharing? We are 100% open for data sharing, and we have shared some data requested by NCIT for EFAS implementation, and if there are no legal implications, we are ready for data sharing. And
that was not
with
actually
the proper
my
framework.
That was not actually my question. My question is, for your data sharing, how flexible are you to adopt the national data sharing platform to share the data? Whichever data you are going to share, you are going to share through the national data sharing platform.
Yeah, it is very flexible. We can adapt to the national data sharing framework easily, because SAP has a lot of standard API endpoints open from it. And then if there are additional requirements, then we will be able to have more customization, and our new customized APIs can cater for that. So fairly easy for us to do that.
Anything else to add from the panelists?
I have a question to Aisha. In the present NICE presentation, actually mentioned about MBS developing a national statistics system, right? So I was wondering, in the development of that system, to what extent have you explored on, looking into the other, integrating with the other existing registries or administrative registries and databases? How would that national statistical system would look like when it, its requirements are finalized? I also have a question to Shafi. The GIS system has a lot of information, and in the current world, we actually need that information for the private sector development as well. So to what extent is your authority open to the idea of sharing the information that is available in the GIS for other users? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. First, I would like to highlight that we do have a 10-year plan on the development of national strategy for the development of statistics. So what we plan to do is to collect data from each ministry, the data that is collected through administrative systems, so that using a unique ID, we would want to collect that data and then disseminate anonymized data to the public. So whoever wants the data would have the data available through our website or other platforms.
So as far as data sharing, we encourage it. The idea behind having a national spatial data infrastructure is to share data. Currently, we host, our website is OneMap, and we host geodetic reference data, administrative data, geographic names. All those data are available for download in any format, spatial format as well as tabular format. So currently, we lack some of the framework data. Some of the framework data have to be produced by sectors, and we have data from, for example, from EPA environment sector. We have their protected area data, and it's published and it's available. So the idea behind the NSDI is for the data to be available for anybody to use without a license or anything like that. Yeah.
Thank you. I believe we have a question from here.
Yeah. Going back to the discussion about the payment gateways, I'm Ibrahim from Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA. So I believe we are the biggest collector of revenue for the state. Actually, we even MIRA or Customs or even Ministry of Finance has to use the private gateways when we do the collections. Can't we integrate our systems into the power-up payment system by MMA? I think we are talking about a paradigm shift. Not that it has to happen tomorrow, but in the future. So that would be a very seamless thing for taxpayers, for sure.
I think it's a very, very valid question, and it has a lot of significance in the way how we handle payments. And we have had discussions, and according to the technical team, our APIs to that level have to be worked out, and that's what we aim for, rather than us dealing with all of the different payment providers integrated into it, and a more seamless way of collecting payments, whether it is tax, revenue, or different fees. A unified point would be the best approach. So we definitely will be working with MMA in order to find a way of this specific integration. We have started that initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will take the question from...
My question is for Aisha as well, more or less resonating with what MD Saida said. I understand that the national ISIC was recently revised, and so what this means is that there are new additions of sectors, such as creative sectors as well as digital sectors. And this was not previously reflected in the national ISIC. So my question is, with these revisions, what kind of changes to the data framework will be done to MBS to measure these newly added sectors? And this is more or less resonating with the HAP's vision of 15% GDP contribution. So how would you start measuring these newly added creative sectors as well as digital sectors in the national ISIC?
It's been quite some time that we have been working on the national industry classification, and there's a new revision to the international classification. So actually what we have been doing is adding an additional digit to the international classification so that industries such as, let's say, resorts, in the international classification, resorts might be aggregated to the 4-digit level. So what we have been doing is to add another digit so that resorts can be identified in the national classification. So in a similar manner, we will be able to, we'll be doing it for the rest of the sectors. But then in order to classify the creative economy, the sectors, we have to code it, each of the sectors, and aggregate them. So in the national classification, there will not be a single digit for the creative economy, but you have to add all these digits to find the total GDP of that certain sector. Thank you.
Just adding on to that, there are issues with aggregating that into one digit, because then we're simply assuming that all industries are equal. But if we want to make targeted efforts in improving these sectors, whether it's the digital sectors or IT sector, these have to be disaggregated. So I believe that moving forward, since our vision is Maldives 2.0, we should be aiming for a more disaggregated data so that we can make more coherent policy decisions. And that also means more investment based on these GDP contribution for these disaggregated sectors. Just to comment.
Thank you. We have time to take one last question. Do we have any questions? In that case, could I ask one question to our panelists? I would like to ask this question to State Minister Imran. We're talking about, from the presentation, we know that we are handling very manual, siloed systems currently, and we are targeting to move to stronger integrated systems. So I would like to ask, how can this change management be effectively handled to transition from this manual siloed data systems to this integrated digital-first financial ecosystem?
First of all, I'm sorry. First of all, I was hoping you would ask me a simpler question. So I guess today we are here actually reflects that change management is taking place. I suppose from what has been shared by our Estonian friends, it is actually very inspiring, and we have actually have some works in pipeline, especially in a few days' time. I hope we'll be starting on a national development planning process. Some of our colleagues are also here working with us. This process of transition of becoming a digitized nation is a required precursor for us to become that advanced nation. And I suppose with the work that we will be doing in the near future, following this process, I suppose I'm actually looking for words here So you gave me the most complicated question to answer here. I suppose with this effort, we will be able to understand where we are. I suppose I'm not sure how to answer that question even. I guess you're the best person here to answer. So yeah, I'm actually out of words on that one. So anybody else could add to that?
I think that is a good answer.
That is not an answer, but let me try to rephrase that. This particular exercise of Maldives 2.0, what we believe is it's actually a blessing for the upcoming works that we are planning to do. So this actually gives us some idea of what we could do in terms of our effort to plan our future. That's the 20-year National Development Plan. So through this process, I think we will be able to formulate and capture our situation better and have a better, I suppose, a monitoring framework, I guess, with this effort, by everybody being connected, I suppose, having a new way of governing how we govern. I guess that's all I could add to it.
That is a good point, and I believe we're all on board with this for a collective effort. And thank you so much. Let us wrap this discussion. Thank you to each of our panelists for your insights and thoughtful reflections. And today's conversation has made it clear that digital transformation in public finance is not just about technology, it's about vision, strategy, collaboration, and meaningful impact for the people of the Maldives. Thank you again for your time and contributions from the public and the engagement from the audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our panelists, and thank you to Ms. Huda Fahim for moderating. That concludes today's summit sessions. Thank you for being a part of the day. As we wrap up, we invite you to enjoy dinner and take this opportunity to connect and network with your fellow delegates. Please note that the session on the education sector has been rescheduled for tomorrow morning, right after the keynote, as we have run out of time for today. We look forward to welcoming you back for the final day of the summit tomorrow. Thank you once again and have a pleasant evening.